For the past 30 years, I've had this hobby of mine to study the heavy questions in life. Some people collect stamps, and I collect thoughts. Um, and I think if you're going to think about the big questions in life, that you might as well really go big and ask those questions that are very important questions. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? And there are some things that I've found over 30 years of study. And I've looked at this from every angle that you can possibly look at it. And some that you probably haven't thought of as well as I didn't expect. But the end result is, being a scientist by nature, I think I've actually come to an answer based on scientific proof and fact and evidence. This is probably going to be a surprise to most of you, but I'm going to throw this out there and then you decide. Just take in the information and consider it. That's all anyone could suggest. I think the meaning of life is sex. That's it. Just sex. No specialness, no spirits, no spooks, no anything. It's just really sex. I mean, actually, procreation is the ultimate driver in all of this. But sex is the vehicle that procreation uses to ensure that procreation is successful in its purpose in life. Now, before you poo-poo this idea out of hand, consider this. One of the things that brought me to this conclusion, and one of the form things that I had to do, was to stop thinking of myself as a person who's a male living in the United States. And I had to broaden the spectrum, or back off and reverse engineer everything and consider myself now. I'm not thinking of myself by gender, and I'm not thinking of myself by region or by race. I'm thinking of myself as a species, a part of a global community. We are one species. And after that, I started looking at what are the commonalities that are inherent in this species. Well, one is, what's the first thing the first things that are fully developed when you're born? It isn't your heart, your brain, or your lungs. It's your eyes, your ears, and your genitals. What's the first thing on your mind when you reach adolescence? Sex. What's the one single most common thought that you have throughout your young life? Sex. What would take a normal, upstanding human being and cause them to literally throw their entire life away, be it a doctor, a priest, a police officer, a lawyer, neighbor, and have them throw their entire life away for maybe 10 minutes of doing whatever they're doing that would get them into that trouble, infidelity, or with the kids underage. They're willing to do that, and they do it regularly, knowing the risks, and yet it happens, and it happens regularly. What event, single event, has caused more death and injury as a cause than sex? Wars have even started over sex. And then if you broaden the picture even more, what does every other living thing on the planet live for? Sex. Normally, docile animals will go absolutely nuts during their season. It's sex. It's the only voluntary thing that we know how to do automatically on adolescence, regardless of country, race, region. Sex. We automatically know how to do this. It may be rather clumsy at first, but somehow it always seems to work out, doesn't it? It's sex. And lastly, consider this. If there was a grand scheme in life, an actual purpose for our being, the reason that we're here, the reason that you are here, wouldn't it make sense that if there was a purpose in life, a destiny, then wouldn't it make sense that everybody would have that message available to them, loud and clear, regardless of where you are on the planet? To every single human being that's ever born is always given that most important message in life. It's just something worth thinking about, guys. But if you ask me, out of every spiritual or holistic or any other type of answers to our being here could ever be, this seems to be the only one that actually is backed up by solid scientific evidence, provable, existent evidence. You make your own determinations. Perhaps the answer holds water. And this is after exhaustive effort to try and disprove this theory. I couldn't do it. That's why I'm sharing this now. I couldn't find a way. I couldn't find any other consistency among humanity and the rest of the entire planet that fits that piece of the puzzle perfectly. So, all I suggest is consider the information, consider the theory, look into it deeper, decide for yourself. I would be interested in hearing the sane responses to this. Thanks for your time, guys.